Sweet 303, live from
Sweet 303, baby. You are now listening to Live from Sweet 303.
Yo. Derric, what episode we on?
4.
Episode 4. And, it's been a while since episode 3, so do apologize to all the fans out there, but we coming to you back. We're back. We got something for the IE really this episode. Like last episode, we're gonna focus a little bit on the IE. Today we have Miss Sakari Bell. What's going on, Sakari?
Hey, how you doing?
All right, and we got my boy Derric.
Yep, I'm here.
And it's your boy Albeezy. You know what it do. So we're really gonna talk about IE and real estate. Actually, we're getting on our mature tip, and we're gonna talk about something that a lot of people need to be talking about instead of just shoes and chains. Get yourself a house.
No, definitely. My name is Sakari Bell, as BZ mentioned, and I'm a realtor. So I am a realtor. My office is based in Rancho Cucamonga, but I take business everywhere. I know some realtors find that they have like a niche neighborhood or a place that they stick into, but I've had sales from Palm Springs, Cathedral City, all the way over to North Hills, Panorama City. So
wow. That's the valley.
The valley. Yeah, that's like really the valley. So
wherever you at.
Yeah, so I do business wherever. So, but I am from the IE, and this is my home. So I know a lot about the neighborhood, and primarily a lot of my business is done out here.
Okay. What made you want to get into real estate?
I've always liked houses since I was young. My whole family would go and look at houses every weekend. We would go to open houses. We would go to model homes. Like that was our thing. Like some people watch TV, some people go to movies. So me and my family went to look at houses. And my mom would always tell me, like, if you work hard, if you go to school, or if you do what you're supposed to do, you can achieve this. So I've always had an interest in real estate since like 7. And then I was like that 11-year-old watching HGTV and all those real estate shows at a young age. Like that interests me. So I started working in the leasing profession, which is like a leasing associate for apartments.
Okay.
And I was doing really good. And my mom was like, you know what? You have the personality. You know a lot of people, and you're already doing it with leasing. So if you're getting paid, $150 to $250 per lease, you could be selling houses. You're going to do the same exact thing.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay,
But no, more than the same thing. More than $100. You give me my 10%.
It's definitely a lot more, but that is what led me to it. So I will say, honestly, my mom was just kind of like, and then I hated working. Like,
it's different when you got to wake up on somebody else's time to clock in.
Because, like, what is that? Like, you working like 9 to 6, basically.
Yeah, I was. I'm a millennial through and through. So I totally have all the good and all the bad, which is like not wanting to work that much and. I hate rules, but I'm not a rule breaker. But I'm just saying, I always felt like I was supposed to have my own business or be a little bit more entrepreneurial. And so when my mom, kind of put the two together for me, I was like, really, she's like, and you hate going to work? Because I felt like it would take up all my time, and I was also going to school at the same time. So, like you said, it's 9 to 6. I would get off. By the time you leave the office at 7 o'clock, I would go to class at 7:30 until 10:30. My whole day is gone. Yeah. So with real estate, you do have the flexibility to work from home. I know a lot of top producers and really big mega real estate agents will say, no, don't do that. Like, come into the office, treat it like it's a job, which you can. But I love knowing that I can.
You're more free.
Yes, it's more free. And I get to get out of my office. I get to go show homes. I drive to different cities. I see different neighborhoods and environments. So
and you don't have to ask permission to take your birthday off.
No.
Can I get my birthday off? No.
Well, you know what? I do tell my clients, though, because there have been a couple of instances where I'm in escrow and we're either in that really serious time and I'm going on a vacation.
Yeah.
So, but my vacation, I'm still working. I have my laptop, like literally I'm on the sand and the beach sending emails, getting reports.
Yeah.
But that's what I love about it. It's the hustle, but it's very fluid.
Yeah.
So that was just it. As soon as I found out I didn't have to wake up and go and tell somebody when could I pee and is my lunch too long? And you know how it is. And I've always had a job since I was 15, so just not having to just deal with people no more. You don't
have that big brother over your head.
Yes, like
you're supposed to take a lunch at 1:30. It is 1:35.
Exactly,
and then you got a penalty now.
And then in the leasing field, it's very. They don't ever want to close the office. So they're like, okay, well, Sakari, you're going to take a lunch at 12:30. Monica's going to go at 1:30. So make sure you're back on time. So
they don't want to miss out on one person.
Yeah, they don't want to. And I get it. It's a people business.
Yeah.
But for me, I was just getting like, oh my gosh. And then the people there really take their job seriously. Not to say that you shouldn't, but I was always the youngest person in the office, and the people around there, they would get so involved with the residents. And, oh, did you hear what this person did in number 89? And this person, I was just like, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
I'm here to come in, and then on our lunch breaks, we're like, oh my gosh, everybody, let's go have lunch together. Let's talk about the resident in 10A. And I'm just like, I don't
Wow.
And so after a while between that, going to school and being dead dog tired and just the confinement and the constrictions of being in the office all day, I was like, let me go ahead and get this real estate license and let me see what it do.
That's dope. Well, good for you. Let's get a round of applause. round of applause. Got the sound effects now. Boys got the sound effects. But especially because I think Rancho, like the prices of houses, it just seems like they just keep jumping up every single month.
Ridiculous.
I remember back in the day, like you could literally get a house out here probably for like $100,000 in the early '90s.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say a while ago.
And then 2005, all of a sudden, people that had bought houses for like $200,000, they jumped up $500,000. 600,000. Next thing you know, like people were like on the verge of $1 million homes. Then it fell with like 06, 08. Okay, it's probably like between 06, 08. Yeah. It got really bad, but it's starting to pick up again.
It definitely is starting to pick up again. I just pulled it up on my phone. The median home price in California right now is $522,440.
Okay.
So that is
over
$500,000. And I don't think people realize until it's time, and a lot of my clients run into this, it's not that easy to qualify for a $500,000 house. You have to have a certain amount, like even people that you think like, oh, I'm a doctor, oh, I'm a lawyer. Like, no, like it's really hard to get a loan because unless you're coming in with 20% down, you're looking at a very big qualification process. And so with the median home price being that, it's kind of, I think sometimes it can be scary for new buyers, but if I have a lot of couples now, millennials that are coming together, even brothers and sisters and then friends buying houses because they realize like, it's pretty hard to do it just on your own. So, but the market is definitely coming up. I hear whispers and chatter all the time that, oh, the market's going to crash soon. And
it is.
Is it?
I mean, that's what everybody...
Again?
That's what they say. It happens every couple...
Every 8 to 10 years.
Okay.
The stock market does this.
Yeah.
I mean...
Yeah, it happens.
I was a loan officer before. So,
okay.
Yeah, so
this is good.
Yeah, it's a money man.
My background is I have a bachelor's in finance, master's in financial planning, Series 7, Series 66, stocks and investments.
Oh, that's what you do now?
Well, not right now, but that's mainly what I do. But life insurance as well. But
oh yeah, you a numbers guy.
Yeah. So yeah, when it comes to numbers, is every day. Like I don't like to make a decision without checking like 3 or 4 or 5 different sources of what this may cost here and here before I pay for something.
Exactly.
But just like you said, interest rates on a 30-year mortgage, if your record is, most people record not clean, and what I mean by record is, not paying their bills on time every single day. Because 35% of your credit score is you paying your bills on time. Mm-hmm. That's number one. Yeah. And as a loan officer, sometimes I will pull somebody tell me, "Oh, I have great credit. I'm in the high 700s." All right, okay. Mm-hmm. I go pull your credit, and it shows like you got like a 620. Now, if you got a 620, you just barely made it. But if you have like 680 to let's say maybe 750, you still with points. You buy down points. If somebody buy down points, that means that if this is gonna cost 5%, it could cost them another $3,000 to get it down to a 3.8. Right, so they get rolled into the mortgage. So it takes a lot for somebody to walk into a situation and get a good deal on a house. You're gonna pay, like she know. Yeah. But you're gonna have to pay your interest. But it's a lot. It's a lot that goes into it, and most people don't handle their bills correctly. Like she said, it's doctors. I talked to people that made like over $200,000 a year. Yeah. Credit score in the high 500s or credit score low 600s. That just means they don't know how to handle their money, period. Yeah. I've talked to people that made maybe like $30,000, $35,000 a year that had a high 700s. I talked to a dude that was a waiter, bro. He made like $28,000 a year, and he was trying to refinance his house. And his credit score was in the high 700s. I was like, what the hell? I was like, okay. And then I looked at his credit report, and he was paying everything on time. He didn't take on stuff he didn't know he couldn't pay. Yeah. And that's just how I go. And that's where it starts for me in the African American community. It seems like there is a disconnect that we aren't taught money management really. I honestly think that it is something that should be taught in schools, but of course they don't want you to teach that because there's a whole market based on you not paying your bills. And it's funny she mentioned that. That's again, you saw me. I just posted something about that about Martin Luther King yesterday because everybody talking about the 50th anniversary of him dying. That I'm on the mountaintop I'm on the mountaintop speech where he talking about like he seen the promised land, he ready to die. They never talk about what he was talking about in that situation. Early in that speech where he says black people stop buying from Wonder Bread, Coca-Cola, invest your money into black insurance companies and such and such. He was at that point where he was tired of being toe-to-toe with the white man and saying black people, we need to spend our money with black people. Exactly. We have a financial, economic inequality. That's when Martin Luther King was starting to talk about. That's when he started scaring people. Right. That's when he started. When he said, us fighting in Vietnam is stupid. It's no point of us doing it. And that's why I was like, nah, we gotta kill this nigga. Exactly. Exactly. No, and I don't mean to laugh, but really, like people don't realize like it's deep rooted in. We really got to break the cycle. And I know people talk about this all day. And even myself, I'm still guilty. I don't patronize only black businesses.
Yeah.
I want, you got to make your money.
I would love to. I would love for us to get there one day where we are very, where we really have a true representation in the market when it comes to business because African Americans are the biggest buyers.
So who do you have? You have Apple Music? You have Apple Music? Oh, chill. She ain't got title. She a bomber. Get title.
You know what? I wanted to get title, but okay. My cousin has title, and she has Apple Music, and title didn't have some of the songs that we would want to listen to.
We didn't want to listen to Taylor Swift. Stop it.
No, not that, but it would just be like oldies or like even some mixtapes. And she'd be like, girl, they don't have it. I have it on Apple Music.
We get in there.
So, when they do, I'll be more than happy to switch over.
We got TV episodes that Apple Music doesn't have. All right, but back to the subject.
No, but so basically I just feel like we need to start learning from a young age, whatever race you are, but especially in the African American community, how to handle your money and how it is important. You have two sides. You have the people who tell you credit doesn't mean anything. You don't need credit. If you don't have credit, that means that you're doing well because you only buy with cash. You only buy what you can. Okay, that's great. Unless it comes to when you make adult decisions, like buying a house, or if you see yourself buying businesses and you want to get, locations for your businesses and loans, you need to have credit. All credit is a track record of, do you pay back? Yeah. Are you a good person? It's a small representation.
Like financial resume.
It's like your financial character, really. And so we aren't really, I mean, don't get me wrong. My mom is an attorney, and she told me from very young, no, credit means everything. You know, let me get your credit right. And I was young. I was 18, so I got credit cards. You know, because when you're 18, they all start sending you stuff.
Yeah, so you hit 18.
Yeah, and
Like,
then,
oh man, I get one of these magic cards.
Man,
Oh.
they had, when I was in college at A&T, bro, they had people like at the Domino's.
Oh yeah. Happened to me at Papa John's.
Set
Got
up
an MTV
the
card.
lady with the little city card. Hey, sign up for the little $500.
Yeah.
Like, we try to just get peace, and you trying to get us to sign up for a credit card?
Yeah.
You hear Domino's.
Do you want your pizza free today?
Yeah.
Get this card.
Yeah.
But it's very important that we learn how to manage our money when we're young. And like you said, you have waiters who make $28,000, but yet they have a 700 credit score. Either they were self-taught, or somebody showed them the ropes on how to manage your money, how not to make any bad fumbles. Because like you said, 30% is, do you pay
35.
back? 35.
Yeah.
And in some situations, people see somebody else in their life mess up so much that they're stuck in their brain. Like, I'm not gonna go through that. You know, so that's like I said, it could be self-taught. They can see it by experience, or somebody actually sit them down and talk to them about it. It's a lot that go into it.
Now with like you'd mentioned, like the waiter and getting a house and stuff. Now, is there programs out there for young folks to be able to make it easier for them to purchase a house? I've heard there are.
No, yeah, there definitely are. There's a lot of programs. I tell people I am by no means a lender. I'm a realtor. So I don't even almost try to sell my clients on loans, on rates. I say talk to a lender, but what I do tell them is every lender is different because they all can offer you something different. They have different like you said, they have buy downs on points. They offer a lot of programs. You have down payment assistance programs as well for people if they need help with money to put down on a house. But also what they don't tell you is that's going to be in your loan, and it's usually at a really high rate.
like FHA loans, conventional loans. FHA is backed by the federal government. So most in those situations, you don't have to put down, but maybe max 5%. But you can probably get a lower interest rate, but you got to pay for a monthly mortgage insurance for most of the years in that program. So if it's 30 years, you probably gonna pay it well into almost 20 years. Conventional, you can put down 20. If you put down 10 to 20%, then you're in a better situation. You can maybe get a lower interest rate and no monthly mortgage insurance. But either way, like you still gonna get got. Either way.
I mean, I don't want to make it sound negative. Now, it's great that they offer so many programs, but sometimes people seem to think that you're just going to get free money. No, it doesn't work that way. So there are programs like there's NACA. In NACA, they have no down payment. So NACA is a government program, and let me read exactly they're the Neighborhood Assistance Corporation of America, and it's a nonprofit. So there where a lot of low to moderate income people go if they need help, if they don't have a down payment, and they offer no closing costs, no fees, no income limit, and no need for perfect credit. But what they don't tell you is NACA is really hard to work with, because I have clients right now who are working with NACA, and it's but I don't want to say it's hard. They basically want to make sure you're going to get a loan that you're not going to F it up. So when we go look at houses, we can't just make an offer like how you normally would when it's time. When normally you see a house you like with your realtor, what you do is you make an offer because you've already had a pre-approval letter.
Right. You know your limit.
You know your limit. So with NACA, we have to get property specific pre-approval letters. So we show the lender, hey, we want to buy this house on 123 Applegum Street, and it's $400,000. And they're like, okay, well, what's the city tax rate? Is there a HOA? What is there a Melrose, which are like special taxes within that city? So then once we give them that, they'll say, okay, well, yeah, the house is $400,000, but based on what you told me, and based on your credit score, and based on your debt to income ratio, you can only offer $385 for that house, because we're working in all those factors in your monthly payment to make sure that you stay within this income limit. For some people, that might not be a problem, but with my clients right now, we're running into the issue that everything in this area has HOA. And the HOAs are ranging from $185 to as high as $330.
And HOAs
is a home association
for
of
people
fee.
that don't know.
Like,
that
so-
usually
make sure your
covers
grass
like
look a certain way.
yeah, if you're
Yeah.
in a gated community, maybe
Yeah.
you have a swimming pool needs to be cleaned every month. They want to have all the grass and the hedges looking pristine.
Yes.
You got a golf course, that's what stuff like that.
Yeah, so the HOA, they usually cover, like he said, all your exterior stuff in a neighborhood. They're very strict. Some people hate them. Some people love them. People hate them because you can't do certain things to your house without their permission or the permission of your neighbors. Some people love it because they like that they know they're going to live in a neighborhood where,
it has a certain demographic, basically.
No, not even that. Also because they know that their neighbor is not going to paint their house blue and their next door neighbor is not going to paint their house green. And then they're going to have all these little garden gnomes. It's not going to look crazy. It's going to be very uniform and nice. So,
and Melrose is, again...
It's like a special city tax. So it could be based on the school district, what's in the neighborhood. Not every city has...
roads. It could be anything.
It's really anything.
Rancho have a Melrose? Rancho Cucamonga?
Some areas in Rancho.
Oh wow. So
it's like,
depends.
It really depends on the neighborhood.
I'm thinking like if you live near Los Osos High School.
I don't think my mom has one because my mom lives near Los Osos, but a house that I sold right down the street next door to Rancho Cucamonga High.
It does.
It did.
Oh wow. Okay.
So there was a special tax on that. So all that's to say is with these programs, they definitely will help you. It's just going to be a little bit more complicated. And sometimes people, especially in this generation now, we want everything right now. We want it the easy way. We don't want to do anything hard. Just give it to me right now. I just want it, and it doesn't really work that way. And I like to, explain it to people like, this is your largest purchase that you'll ever make in your life. Like, it's okay.
You have
yes. It's, it's okay to take your time. It's okay for it not to move at lightning speed. It's has to work its way through. And just know that if they have patience and they're working with a trusted real estate professional, it should go smoothly.
Yeah. Now, what about, because I know a lot of people, they really should buy a house because the rent they're paying is up there, especially if you live in there's plenty of affordable places in the Inland Empire. That's why people move from LA to out here. But at the same time, we also have communities where it costs the same amount as like Malibu.
Yeah.
You might be paying
the worst part of Malibu
for a 1-bedroom. I don't know. They got literally places in Rancho Cucamonga where it's like $2,100 for a 1-bedroom apartment. Yeah. Like that is nuts.
And I'm like, who do they think they are?
But you pay $2,100 in Malibu, it's gonna look like what?
But if you pay $2,100, but if you pay, you could pay $2,100 in Hollywood and it'd be all right.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is there's people that live out there and they're like, man, this is a lot of money. Let me move east and find something cheaper. And they come out here and they're like, oh, wait.
No, literally, I'm having that exact problem.
I really have to find a smaller, older type of place if I really want to save this money. So I'm not getting anything brand new with 5 stars.
Well, it varies because I'm having an issue now with another client. She's lived in LA her whole life and she was going to pay $1,200 for a studio. And I told her, no, you need to come to the Inland Empire. You will get more bang for your buck here because there's places in LA that a lot of people don't know. They don't even have central air. There's no parking. There's no washer and dryer. It's definitely not inside, but definitely not on the premises.
Someone died in it.
I mean, a lot of stuff can go down in those LA apartments versus here. So yeah, the price may not be as big of a difference that people hope when they think of the IE because like we're saying, the real estate market is changing. Everything is going up. So 6 years ago, hell yeah, you could come out here and get you a 1-bedroom for $990 that had, faux granite countertops, nice wood
24-hour
cabinets, 24-hour gym, washer and dryer. But now, 7-8 years, here we are in the present, it's not like that. But you will get a better quality of living. You're going to have no homeless people all over the place. You're not going to have a bunch of running around animals.
I be having homeless people out
not
here.
Not like how out
but
there.
Definitely.
Like, in Koreatown, no. Like you're not, which you're gonna pay $1,200 for a studio in Koreatown. It's gonna be like moving to Beverly Hills out here because you can walk on your streets and feel safe. There's not graffiti. There's not trash bags. Like literally, people just putting their trash and couches on the middle of the street. You know, it's not gonna be the newest apartment, but you will get more square footage. You will have a nicer neighborhood. You are gonna have, nicer stores around you and overall, I think it's better, but that commute. So if you're going to stay to work in LA or if you want to keep going to LA, whether it's for social or business, you will have that commute. So it's just all, the price that you pay for what you want.
There's a problem with like people that have grown up out in the IE their whole lives, never experienced anything outside, and they keep seeing the price raise and they don't know why. And it's like, I think they really need to be like a product of their environment and really like adapt to the times. Like you really... Like, there's people from out west moving out east for a reason.
That's why so much damn traffic on the 10 and the 210.
And then there's a lot of companies opening up in Ontario, San Bernardino.
Amazon.
Amazon. They have a new location in Eastvale. They're taking people, their employees from Wisconsin and Oregon and Texas. They're all moving out here. And they all need somewhere to stay. And that alone is going to raise the rent, supply and demand, basically.
Also, along with that is there's something going on in the Asian market and the European countries with their dollar. In the real estate market, we're coming across a lot of full cash buyers from Asia.
They are a suitcase of money.
It literally
they come over here because a lot of stuff is cheaper for them over here.
It is.
Like when I worked for New York Life, a lot of the people that were Asian, like when they come buy an insurance policy, bro, like they putting $50,000 into that shit.
Immediately.
Boom.
Wow.
I'm like, in the insurance, and then I started learning how they do business. Like insurance stuff, housing stuff is cheaper over here for them. So they come over there with cash, and want to pay for it up front. Some of them pull their money together, pay for something together, and that's what they do.
And it's also affecting the renting too, because you have a lot of people. First of all, we've always had a lot of foreigners and students who come over here to go to school, but now there's a super large increase in that. So those people are renting. Their parents don't have a problem paying $2,200 for a one bedroom for their kid to go to school across the street from UC Riverside or from Cal State San Bernardino.
And that's why people from out here need to realize, look, these people are coming in, they're raising the price.
They're
adapt to the times.
They're raising the prices, and then also with the real estate market, when it comes to purchasing and owning, they're coming over here with either full cash offers or damn near full cash. They're over ask. They're removing their appraisal contingencies. I'll go in further detail what that means, but it basically is like the bank gets the house appraised to make sure it's worth the value, but they're saying it's okay if it's not what the bank says that it's worth. We'll pay the extra. So what that does is that changes the price value in that neighborhood, and it sets a record and a tone. But like I said, it's something going on. Somebody in my office was explaining to me with their money. So a lot of them are moving their money out of the country of Asia, China, Japan, all those countries, and they're putting it into our real estate here, basically to hold their money. You'll see a lot of people have houses that they are renting out. They don't even live in them. They'll sit empty for months, and then all of a sudden they'll turn around and they'll sell them. So they'll flip it, but they don't even put anything into it. So usually when you flip a house, like, you kind of spice it up to get a bigger return. No, they just let it sit for $7.
They're not putting $1 into it.
They don't put any upgrades into it because something is going on with their market. So they're shuffling their money around. So, those are the little things that are turning into big things over time that affect the market. So like you said, people from here are like, well, I don't understand why the price is going up. It's like, you don't have to understand. You either get with it or get lost.
Now, if I'm trying to get away, though, from paying either like a really big house price or really large rent amounts, like what are some alternative cities within the Inland Empire that I should look into? Like if I'm moving from like Rancho to an Ontario area, like what are some other good areas? Because that's what I think a lot of millennials are like, where am I supposed to go?
Yeah, where are you supposed to go?
And I want somewhere decent. I'm not trying to move to the hood, but like I know people, they've moved up to Victorville.
Yeah.
It might be was it like 20 minutes from Rancho?
Ain't nothing in Victor.
Nah, it's
But
like
I mean,
cool
if you're
30, 40
if you're
minutes.
trying to buy a house maybe instead of renting, I mean, it might be
like
worth
30
it
minutes out.
going somewhere like a little bit more south in Hemet,
Yeah, you
Temecula
have.
area.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. To the answer to your question, you have a lot of people going to Riverside, Temecula, Menifee, Hemet, like you said, Moreno Valley, deeper in Fontana, Rialto, Colton. That's where people are going because it is cheaper for rent purposes and it is cheaper even to buy in those cities. But then you have people who are like, wow, there's nothing out there, like you said, or, oh, my job is still 30, 40 minutes away. And it's like, yeah, but I tell people, do it with a purpose. If you're going to move far away or if you feel like you're going to inconvenience yourself, do it with a purpose and have a plan and a goal. So say, okay, you know what, I hate living really far out, but if I have to move to Moreno Valley and do a 40-minute commute out here to, I don't know, Chino to come to work, you know what, let me do it for a year. I'm going to pay this amount of rent. I can save this much. And then that way I can have, a 2% down payment for purchasing a house in this price range. So for people who are looking to buy and they don't really know how to start, I definitely recommend talking to a lender maybe a year in advance. So because people don't know where to start and they come to me when they think they're ready and they're like, oh, well, I've saved up $15,000. So I'm ready to buy a house. And it's like, you might be, but there also may be some things that you need to work out. So
put yourself in a better situation.
To put yourself, so you can get that lower interest rate. You don't have to have that mortgage insurance. So it's always cool just to talk to a lender like, hey, I want to buy a house in the next year. What can you advise me to do? And it's nothing for them to say, hey, build up your credit. Are you planning on getting a new job or any raises? Do you have any assets? Let's work down that debt. Let's pay off that car with your income tax if you can. Okay, based on what you make right now, this is about the home value that you'll be able to get. So then that way you have in your mind, like I said, you set that goal and that plan. Like, okay, you know what? I need this much saved up in order to buy a $300,000 house for a monthly payment of this amount. Now, of course, the market can change at any day. But it's still good to have an idea so you aren't just living in the middle of nowhere paying $700 rent because you want to buy a house, but it's like like what are you doing?
See the big picture too.
Exactly, you need to have a big picture.
Like Rancho used to not be as big as it is. There was no Ontario Mills. There was no Ontario International Airport. There was no Victoria Gardens. Used to be nothing but vineyards and bush and tumbleweeds. Everyone that bought in the early 90s is now able to flip their house for a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And if there's a decent amount of people moving to these new areas, you got to look at it like this place is going to build up, 15 years from now. Maybe what you should do is maybe even buy a house in one of these other areas, then rent it out. Then you go move to the area that you want to live in. You still own that place. And maybe 50 years from now, you can sell it and make, 4 times the amount that you originally bought it for.
Now, that isn't a perfect world, but most people cannot buy a house and pay a mortgage and then also pay rent. Because, you can rent it out, but a lot of people don't realize with renters, you don't know what they're going to do. To evict a renter, they make it really hard. Somebody could live in your place for almost a year. I know somebody who lived in a place for a year and did not pay rent. During the whole litigation of the owner trying to get them put out. So what happened?
Paying mortgage and rent at the same time.
So now, like you said, if I was to buy a house in Fontana and rent it out, but I may be living in downtown LA paying rent, well, guess what? That person doesn't pay. So now I have to pay my rent in downtown LA and my mortgage. Then you have your property taxes. So you kind of get screwed. So I tell people who often say like, oh, I'm going to buy a house and I'm going to go make sure your money's right. Stay in your lane. You don't want to bite off more than what you can chew because or you may not have a renter. It may be sitting stale and you may be having to drop the price now where if your mortgage is $2,000 and nobody wants to rent it for $2,000. Now you got to rent it out for $1,750. You still got to come out of pocket, and then you're responsible for all the repairs. So just definitely,
you're a landlord.
Yeah, and it's great to be a landlord. Don't get me wrong. And I think if you can do that, then do it. I think it's an amazing thing to do.
And like you said, you never know who your renter is. That's why a lot of people, if they get a good renter, they're like, "Oh, I want to keep this person.
Yeah,
I'm not going to raise the rent. You're going to stay, right? You're going to stay."
But also, sometimes people go in a situation when it comes to buying a house or having a house to get income from. They go in about it the wrong way. Mm-hmm. A house is not an investment if you just living there with your family and you want to live there and retire. Mm-hmm. That's not a fucking investment. An investment is something that you put your money into and you hope to get more money back from. Yeah. So if you're going to, if she's selling you a house just for your family, that's not an investment. Mm-hmm. That's where y'all gonna live until you choose to try to sell a house. Yeah. Now, if you're buying a house to try to like a multi-unit or to try to get more income back, then that's different. Yeah. But you got to go in it knowing what you're supposed to get out of it. Yeah. And some people, when I sat down with people, some people have their monthly income or monthly expenses just for the mortgage and the property taxes. Because if you don't have your property taxes rolled into your monthly mortgage payment, then you got to pay that big ass payment at the end of the year. Most people are in a situation where they can save money to pay that property tax at the end of the year. So it's wiser for you to roll it into your monthly mortgage payment. Yeah. But if you don't have the money to pay for the mortgage payment, then even though you're paying your monthly mortgage, you get still risk a chance of losing that house. Mm-hmm. But what most people don't account for is stuff that you got to fix around the house, the water leak or a pipe bust.
Or them doing stupid stuff.
Right, or anything.
The garbage disposal.
Right. But most people only think, I make $4,000, my rent is $1,500. Yeah. That's all I need is $1,500 every single month. No. Nigga, you probably need like $2,500 just to be on the safe side. Yeah.
But I don't want to scare anybody. I feel like you're making it
done. But you just got to be prepared.
Yeah, you have to know the reality of it. But I will say buying a house is always, to me, a better incentive because you do get tax write-offs. Mm-hmm. It is something very different about owning your own house because what most people don't realize is, or a lot of people actually probably do if they're renting, every year your rent goes up. Yeah. If you go from paying $1,600, you on a 10-month lease, guess what? Now they want $19.
And your income
exactly,
up,
and your income stays the same. And then after you've done another 12-month lease, so now you pay $19 for the same place that you were paying $16. And guess what? Now they want $2,200. Yeah. And then it's like that's why you see a lot of people move around from apartment to apartment. We all got that one friend who stay jumping apartments because of raise the rent.
$25 cheaper down the street. I'm about to put down another $700 deposit and move.
Exactly,
if
but
that makes sense.
When you own a house, you don't have to worry about that because if you do get a fixed loan, which I always recommend rather than an ARM, which is an adjustable rate.
That's how the last market crash happened.
Yeah, a lot of people were doing adjustable rates with these low interest rates because they sounded really good, but in the end, so what adjustable means, and I'm sure he can chime in on this, is say your payment is $2,000 with the interest rate of 3%. Well, guess what? It's adjustable. So 5 years have passed. If that. And now your payment has jumped. It adjusted. Wow. So now, and adjusted the rate. So now your interest rate is 5%. Yeah. And your payment is now $4,200.
And you had no idea that this was about to
But that's what happened in the last market crash.
Most in the recession.
People. And that's why Obama had to come in and bail out all these mortgage companies.
Shout out to Obama.
That's why Countrywide had to end up being bought out by Bank of America. Okay. Countrywide was the #1 mortgage lender in the whole country. Wow.
But that's what they were doing. But those lenders knew. Those lenders knew what they were doing.
It's a movie you got to watch. It's called Inside Job.
With Denzel?
No, that's Inside Man. And I always gotta say this when I talk about this movie. Inside Man, Denzel trying to get that diamond. Yeah. But Inside Job is basically people from Wall Street that work for all these companies that talk about what happened in the recession and why it happened. Okay. But all these companies were, let's say, Bank of America sold you an ARM, adjustable rate mortgage. And then on the side, they was making side bets saying that, we know this nigga gonna fail. Yep. And that's gonna implode. So we're gonna sell him this, but bet on him failing over here at this other company. It's called like a CDO or credit default swap, one of those. And that's how they made their money. Wow. The regular people like me and you, we're gonna lose our house, we're gonna lose our home.
Credit's gonna be shit.
Right, our credit's gonna be shit, but they made money because they sold you the house in the first place. Then they made a side bet saying you was gonna fail on your mortgage. So that's how that whole market.
And then they get the house back, and now they get to resell the house as well.
So they're really doubling, tripling up.
Yep.
Well, a lot of laws have, so they say, have changed, so to prevent to prevent that from happening. But you have to be careful when you get your mortgage that you really know. But that's the incentive to me, rather than renting, is because you know what your payment is going to be. You own something, and when you don't pay your rent in an apartment for 30 days, I remember I would be issuing out 3-day notices. I know my neighbors stayed in their house for 2 years and didn't pay their mortgage. Not saying that anyone should do that, but usually your bank or your lender will work with you. They'll say, okay, you know what? You're late on your payment. What's going on? Yeah. Oh, my husband's sick. Oh, you know, we have hospital bills. Okay, so can you do this? And they'll kind of give you a little bit more wiggle room, because they're not just going to snatch your house, because they really don't want to have to go through it and pay lawyers big dollars, because they don't pay the same lawyers that we pay. They pay big corporate lawyers to put your house through foreclosure, to have to relist the house. It's a loss for them, because like we said, the industry has changed, so people are a little bit more moral. So, when they're trying to be. So now when you buy a house, I tell everybody, I think everybody should own a home, especially Black people, because although you may not have an investment, you can leave it on to your kids. Yeah. That's how a lot of Hispanics and Asians do it. They leave their houses. I know Hispanics, because I have a lot of Hispanic friends, they would have a house. Everybody live in the house. The grandma, the grandpa, the auntie, the uncle, the kids. Yeah. So guess what? They all live in there, and they all help pay for it, and they build and they grow. And so that's how you see so many.
That's one of the things that they have in their community as well. In our community, they've taught Black parents, especially. It's a lot of times you hear it you hear it in Black households, but a lot of times in single parent households, when you hit 18, you got basically two situations. Either you go to school or you go to the military. That's a two. But when you look at
school and move out,
right, right, and then when you look at it in the white community or even the Asian, like I said, or Hispanic, like they stand in, and sometimes they stay in the house till like they're 28 years old, and their parents are still having paying them like their phone bill or their car note.
And also with Black people, I feel like we have a stigma too within our community, because everybody want to seem like they grown and they got it and they doing it and they big balling. Especially with social media coming out, you have so many people be like, "Bitch, you 22, you still live with your mama." Well, guess what? She may be living with her mom with a purpose. Like I said, everything needs to be done with a purpose and a plan. Those people, those other races, those other cultures, they're doing it with purpose and a plan. Yeah. Guess what? I know plenty of my Hispanic friends, 27, 28 years old, living with their parents, working full-time jobs, but they got $40,000 excess in the bank. That's not their savings. That's not their checking. That's what they're saving to put down on a house. They pay their grandma or their parents $200 or $300. Yeah. They drive their same Honda that they've had for probably about the past 5 years. Credit score is an 813. And they can go out and buy a house because they did it with purpose.
And they can't get a girlfriend because they're living at home with their mom.
Well, actually, within those cultures, people understand it.
Right.
They
right.
don't trip.
I'm talking with the whole social media world.
But even with social media, Hispanics and Asians and white people, they be like, "Oh yeah, my boyfriend." I know pretty girls. They be like, "Oh yeah, my boyfriend stays at home with his parents." Yeah.
But he got banged.
He's a firefighter though.
Because the way they're looking at it is he's staying at home with his parents. I know he's stacking his money.
But when we stay at home with our parents, we look trifling. You living off your mama.
That's one of the things they've made us do.
They think we're like baby boy.
They made us hate ourselves in anything that we try to do that's almost positive. We can have, even like, a lot of people hate LeBron, bro. I can understand if you hate LeBron because of his basketball situation. But everything he does outside of basketball, he does the right thing for the Black community. But it's still some people that's going to hate him. And that's just how it goes.
I only appreciate the sarcastic haters. The haters that can actually respect what he's doing. And like, I like Kobe more, but we know he's good. But you can't be dissing this man on everything. Like, this man does a lot of good stuff. Yeah. You can't get mad at him for what a fan says.
Through college, bro.
And that's the things that we should be aspiring to do too.
Yeah,
when we go up, we remember to reach down and reach beside us. A lot of people only want to click up with people once they're doing
Once
really
they're there,
good. You know, when they're getting.
On the
But like
bandwagon.
Issa Rae said, you got to look to the people on the left and the right of you. She's like, when I got on and I got my deal with HBO for her show Insecure, she was like, I didn't go and start hitting up Shonda Rhimes and Ava DuVernay. I was like, hold up, let me call my homegirl. Let me call my college roommate who I know was, you know, studying writing, and my other person who was doing screenplays. And I looked to the side and the people below me to lift them up.
Just like this is kind of off subject, but it is on subject. For example, the movie Friday After Next with what's his name? Terry Crews was in that movie. And he started as a security guard on Next Friday.
Yeah. Oh, really?
And Ice Cube, he was like, yo, man, you know, I'm kind of funny. Used to play in the NFL, yada, yada. Oh, check me out. I can do the robot. Ice Cube was like, you kind of funny. Next thing you know, he's putting him in the movie, and then he blew up. Like, you really do got to, like, build up, because you never know who these people, you know, they got talent. You know, put them on. Don't try to put the same people.
Exactly. So I'm telling people now, especially people in the African-American community, it is important. It's essential to own something. Whether you own a business, whether you own a house, let's start putting our skin in the game like everybody else is doing. Let's start building up so that our kids have something left behind.
And don't be afraid of the steps to get there.
No, the steps is real. It's really, I don't want to make it sound.
Because a lot of people, like I tell people, you know, like Derric recently did this. I'm not trying to put all his business out there. But went from apartment to renting a home.
To renting a house.
Yeah.
You don't have to necessarily move out your parents' house and then go, boom, now I'm trying to buy a house. Move your way gradually up there.
No, definitely do it gradually. I mean, I get it. Sometimes your home situation is crazy. Like, I can't live with my mama. Like, you know, this is, you know, certain, you know, sometimes you can't stay. Not because they don't want to help you, but because, you know, black parents, they be on a different tip sometimes.
Worry.
So
can you do this? You are doing this.
Yeah, you know.
It's no accident.
And then, you know, like I said, with our culture, we want to be very independent, and we trying to, you know, look grown, and we want to be grown with our friends. And you have your friends like, you still gotta take out the trash, please. I do, and it's like, yeah, but you're paying $2,300 to live in Hollywood, and you make $5,000 a month, which is taking up half your paycheck. How are you gonna save?
Out your own garbage,
you know? But there are steps that you have to take. I just want to say overall, make sure that, you know, we learn financial responsibility. We try to, you know, manage our money right, live within our means. If you want to make a purchase on credit, there's nothing wrong with that. Pay it off early. There's nothing good about having credit cards if you don't use them. You are to use those credit cards and pay them off and show that it builds that history.
If you have a credit card, that's like, I say the limit is $5,000.
Yeah,
but you're gonna spend $200. Now it shows that you have $4,800 of exposed credit that you're not using. So that can also count negatively against you as well.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So
and people will say, well, I have credit cards. They're all paid off, but they're open.
I never even knew that.
Nah, it can't.
So if you got, like, you know, you can brag like, yo man, I got my credit card said I can spend $20,000. But I'm only spending $5,000.
Yeah, that 15.
The credit is basically looking at, like, why are you not spending more?
Because at that point you are at risk, because they said if you have $5,000 spent on your $20,000 limit, there's a chance that somebody could fuck with your identity and mess up the other $1,500. So that's how they count it against you.
Wow.
Your thing is, if you're not using nowhere near 20 and you only use somewhere near 10 of that 20, you need to call and say, hey, take my limit down to $10,000.
Oh, wow.
If not, it will count against you.
Wow.
And also use it regularly. You know, I tell people use it for everyday purchases. Like, I have a credit card I use for gas. You have a credit card that you may use for food, so that you can make those payments and show those people that you build up your credit. A lot of people don't know. Also, one of the quickest ways to build up your credit is to have somebody who has amazing credit add you on as an authorized user. That's about the fastest way you can do it. So those grandparents and those aunts, let's tap into those resources and say, hey, you know, you don't ever gotta let me use the car.
Grandparents.
No. But you don't ever
responsible do it. If
no.
You screw your grandparents, I'm gonna come beat your ass.
No, what you tell them is you don't even have to let me see the card. Add me on as an authorized user. They're gonna send you a card in my name. I don't use it.
Cut it up.
Just cut it up and keep using it and keep paying as you normally do, because then you get that person's good credit history. So now you go from maybe a 620 to a 730 in 60 days, which is impossible any other way. So now you build your credit up.
Like my dad, for example, he did that. and he'd be like, "Hey, boy, we're going to Home Depot. Bring your credit card." And he would make me buy stuff. He's paying the bill because it's his stuff, but. Like, basically, you did that to try to, like, build up my credit.
Exactly.
I'm not sure if it worked, but, I mean, my credit score is pretty decent right now, so it probably played a role in it.
It's definitely something that we should, take heed to. Take care of your credit. Start saving some money if you want. I'm not saying you have to have a lot of money saved to get a house, but it definitely does help you in your monthly payment and your mortgage insurance. So, if you can save money, definitely save. If you can't save a lot of money, get your credit up together and talk to whether it be a real estate professional like myself or a lender and see, you know what, hey, I'm looking to buy a house. Like I said, the incentives of buying a house, you're not paying for somebody else to own something. You're paying for you to own something. You get property tax write-offs. You get to paint the walls. You get to make improvements. You get to do what you want in there rather than when you're renting someplace you can't. Stressful. It's less stressful. And you don't have to think like, oh my gosh, in 10 months when my lease is up, is my rent going to go up to $2,700?
Am I making a lot of noise? I want to get another pet. Are they going to charge me more money for the rent?
Yeah.
Who's going to be the person on the other side of my bedroom wall? Are they listening to everything I do?
Are they a person who plays an instrument? Because then you going crazy because you got a person.
Got an electric guitar and he's like 2 feet away from me. Like,
So I always tell people
home
ownership is to me the goal. It's not everybody's goal though. I get it. Some people are like, nah, I'm cool. I could just pay rent. I don't want the responsibility. It's not for everybody, but
especially if you're in a job too that's going to be like changing locations all the time, it might make sense for you.
Yeah, like if you're a traveling person, like I know a lot of people like flight attendants and things like that. Traveling nurse. They may not want to, but eventually you do want to plant some roots.
Yeah.
And you do want to have a house, and then even if you do just what like we were saying the Asians do, you could just buy a house, let it sit. My client just bought a house last year in Eastvale at the Ontario Ranch area for $472. Her same exact model, base model, is now going for $560. Wow, so it's $90,000 more.
Speaking of, we're actually running out of a little bit of time, but I'm glad you brought up Ontario Ranch. I looked into that area at one time, and I heard something about they had like a Wi-Fi community.
Yeah, so that's the Lennar area. It's on the other side. They have what's called like a Wi-Fi community. So all their houses are Wi-Fi. And
so everybody, like, you don't pay for internet? Or like, do you pay, but like everyone just guaranteed?
Of course you pay. So they just, it's like not standard. It's not a standard
HOA fee or something?
Yes, it's not a standard feature. They like to, put it on the little walls to make it sound cool, but it's not. So they would say like your house is a Wi-Fi house or a smart home. So you can connect it to all your devices. You can turn your lights on and off. You can turn your TVs on, your alarms on, and then you can also connect to your neighborhood, and you guys can say what's going on in the neighborhood if you share the same, if you tap into their Wi-Fi.
So like if I'm using like their Wi-Fi, like, do I have to pay for like separate internet service, or I just pay for that fee and then all of a sudden I have internet service?
I think you have to pay for a separate internet service because their speed, they're only giving you so much speed. So if you have Netflix, you got multiple laptops, you have a cell phone, you have Apple TV.
You be smart.
So it's basically like kind of like you're at McDonald's and you have the Wi-Fi. It's not really that strong. You kind of can connect to it.
And I never really recommend sharing a really large Wi-Fi network because people can hack and get all your information. Hello, what's going on with Facebook?
In the Asian community. Especially in the Asian community.
I feel you.
So definitely
I'm just real curious about that. Like,
it sounds cool.
Yeah, I'm picturing like a big satellite in the middle of the property.
Oh,
and everybody's just tapped into like 4 bars, 5 bars all the time, every day, all day.
I would move into a community. They have a big old satellite. So in the neighborhood, I'm like,
they make it look like a palm tree,
That would kind of be alarming to me. I would be like,
I'm like they all.
Yeah, they call it a Wi-Fi community, so I was real curious. But I guess that's how they get you too. It sounds good, and then once you move in, you're like, oh, there's a fee, and it's not even all that.
And then like I said again, you don't want your personal information floating. People can tap into your pictures that you have located on your iPhone, your iCloud. That's on the Wi-Fi network. So guess what? Those pictures that you may not want everybody else to see, they can gain access to that. So while it sounds cool, I still think that just get your own Wi-Fi. Pay that $100. It's worth it.
While we wrapping up, I have a few quick questions. I just want to throw them in there. If right now, if you guys could, are you gonna buy a used home or a new home? If the money's there, no worries. Like, is there really a difference? Or are you finding where like used homes might be a better investment, or really doesn't make a difference, just depending on how it's done up?
It really just depends. It's all case sensitive. I personally would want a new home. I think it's just because I've always lived in a new home. And so
like, you have to worry about things like plumbing
termites
and stuff.
Yeah, so when you get
in the walls,
when you get a new house, you do have to have a home inspection. You have to have a pest inspection, which is a termite inspection.
Like, and they do like the appraisal. Is that a part of it?
Appraisal is a part of that, but appraisal also happens with new homes. So if you're getting a loan, so appraisal, like I said briefly, I'll just go over it again. Is if you have a house. If I'm selling a house for $400,000 and you come to me, you're like, okay, I want to buy that house. So you call your lender at Bank of America, like, hey, Mary, I want to buy this house for $400,000, and that's the car you're selling. She's gonna say $400,000, okay, and you offer $400,000 for it. They're gonna send their appraisal agent out there, and he's gonna look at the land, and he's gonna see everything around it, and he's gonna look at the location, and he's gonna look at the last home sold and what prices they sold for, and what were they comparable. We call them comps, you know. Well, a house this size that had the same amount of square footage in the lot, you know, built in around the same time, sold for $410. So okay. And based on the area and what's coming to the area, they also look at future city plans. Some of them do. And they'll say, okay, then they'll report back to Mary like, yeah, that house can appraise for $400,000. Okay. And then so when you go to buy it, you're like, okay, great. So you do that whether you have a new house or an old house, or I don't want to say old house, a resale. Because you're getting a loan, and the bank needs to make sure they're not just giving money for a house for no reason. Just to say though, if that appraisal does come back short, so say it came back at 380, your lender is going to say, okay, well, Albert, we're only giving you 380 because that's, so then you have to come up with that extra $20,000,
or try to tell the person selling it, like, look. But
usually you've already entered into escrow, so now you're at the appraisal process, and so that seller is not going to want to drop it 20 grand. They're going to say, bye, we can go get,
even though it was appraised lower.
Because there's going to be an Asian buyer with cash, and he doesn't care.
I've actually met a lady that she said she didn't even want to sell her house. She said someone kept coming to her door saying, I like this location, I like the way it looks. I don't know how they saw the inside. I guess one day they opened the door, they looked around, and like, and we'll take everything in it. She said she had to buy back everything that she owns, like furniture-wise, but she said the price that she got was dumb ridiculous.
Oh yeah, you have
Asian dude came with cash, just bought her out.
Yeah,
no for sale sign.
Yeah, you have people who will definitely do that, and so you know. You need to know that appraisal is very serious and very common. But if it was up to me, I would probably want a new house because you do get to design it a little bit. You get to say what kind of flooring you want. When you have a resale, you got to think about, you have to add that on to the purchase price. So when you're getting a new home, you get to kind of set it in, assuming that it's not an upgrade. If it's standard, if they say, oh, well, we give you standard wood laminate. Okay, well, cool, because I want wood laminate. I don't want carpet throughout my house.
But the one good thing about used homes, though, is you know, like sometimes the new home is in a new community. You don't know how that new community is going to develop to be. While a new used home might be in a school district that is known already, the neighborhood. They're like, this is a quiet neighborhood. Like everybody's quiet around here. And you and buying into it might be a good thing as well.
No, definitely. That's why I said it's all case sensitive because I don't have any kids. I don't really foresee me having any in the near future. I don't even want to be next to school because I want to hear them loud ass kids. So I would love to be in a community where it's brand new. They don't have a school around. There's not a bunch of kids, and you know I can design my house to my liking.
I feel you.
But you know, not everybody can afford that. But there are a lot of new homes that are being built in the Ontario Ranch area in East Vale. Also, Riverside has some new communities that are coming up. Fontana also has KB Homes, Lennar Homes over here that are in the mid to, well, they were a couple months ago, mid to low 400,000. Now
Okay.
they may be creeping towards 5. I know
Yeah.
for sure in Riverside they have some for 400,000. They have some in Eastvale called New Haven,
Heard about
Solstice.
that. Yeah.
They have Solstice. They have Holiday. Houses that are definitely within a more reasonable price range. You're not going to really see anything in the 3s anymore.
Oh, no.
But in the 4s in this area, it's doable, especially for a new home resale. You might be able to find something for the 3s for resale,
And
a townhome.
If it's in the 3s, I don't even want it because I already know I'm about to be moving way out of my comfort zone. But yo, we're going to have to wrap this up. There's so much more I wish we could cover.
I know. I can always come back. So,
Definitely,
we'll see what the feedback is on this. And people can submit some questions.
Miss Sakari, please let people know how can we
contact
you.
Contact me. My Instagram is SB_Realty. That's REALTY. And my email address is SakariBell, SAKAREEBELL @KW.com. Feel free to reach out to me. If you need a house, if you have questions. If you just kind of want to know where to start.
Too?
Of course I do.
If you're trying to sell your house, you're trying to get a house.
I'm sell houses. If you need a commercial space, if you need whatever your real estate, if you're looking to invest also, if you want to just do a flip, Inglewood is looking nice. So contact me
the Rams Stadium about to come out there.
Yeah, I sold a house in Inglewood. I sold a house in Inglewood for like $600,000, built in 1921 with no central air.
And you imagine what that person originally bought that house for.
Oh, they bought it for $89,000.
$89,000.
They lived in it the whole time from 1920.
Bro, like that area. That's where they about to build that new stadium, bro. That shit is about to go up.
Oh yeah, everybody was able to walk away with $100,000.
Yeah, just like you said, like things go up and down. It probably went down when the Lakers moved. Things are picking back up for the Wood.
I care about the Lakers.
Okay.
But yo, we're gonna have to wrap this up. This was live from Suite 303. I'm glad everybody tuned in. We're gonna get some more episodes soon. Shout out to Sakari once again. I do appreciate
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming out.
Shout out to my boy Derric, aka the Money Man.
Yeah, a lot of insight.
And it's your boy Albeezy. You can catch us at Suite 303 Podcast on Instagram. Look us up on SoundCloud, and then also, live from Suite 303 on YouTube. But it's your boy Albeezy. We'll be out.
Bye.